Well, good day, all. Epstein with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for one wild trading day on this Monday, the 7th of April, 2025. You know, the one thing I warned everybody about over the weekend in my videos and in my morning Spider this morning when I was doing that writing, and in my Sunday night update when I wrote my report, as I said, I think what's going to happen is the market's going to see a washout early Sunday night. It's going to carry everything sharply lower. The pro trader's going to step in along with a number of you and probably try to buy the market. And the one thing I beg you to do is, if you're going to do that, have a very tight stop, and it's going to be a hit and run day, I think the whole day. And I'll stand by what I said. Did I see that there was going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning, fake news, as they're calling it, by Kevin Hessett, one of the advisors to Trump, that there's going to be a 90-day pause in tariffs, and the market took off dramatically. I mean, the ranges today were insane. You don't get this too often, these big of ranges in the market, if you take a look at just how big they are. The futures were insane all the way through. But these type of days, often, they're climaxes. And you've got to take that in. I am not, like so many, saying this was the bottom. Could it be? I have my eyes wide open. Anything can happen. What we know is that now we're looking at April 8th, and on the 9th, we're going to get the next round of tariffs. Let's take a look at something first, and then we'll go into this. This afternoon, you had consumer credit come out, and it decreased at a seasonal rate of 0.2%. I think I said increased in the other update, but it's pretty clear here, it decreased. The revolving credit increased at 0.1, and overall credit decreased at a rate of 0.3. That's non-revolving. The National Federation of Business Indexes will come out with the March Optimism Index. I don't know how that's going to look. I have my doubts it's going to be pretty, at 100.7. Redbook Group will come out with weekly retail sales. Did the consumer pull back as the stock market was correcting? Because this is a weekly number. And as I said, tariff crazy days. So countries started lining up with what are they going to do. We already know that China came out with a 34% reciprocal tax against the U.S. reciprocal 34%. And President Trump said, not enough. We're going to 50% if you put that in. So I think he's got, I have no idea, is it going to be the 16% and then the 34%, and now he's going to take that up and another, from the 34, another 17%, or what's he adding on? I don't know how the numbers are going to work out, but this is never ending is what it is. Japan was ordered into, by the president. Scott Bessent is going to talk, and is it Waltz? I think he's the other one. They're talking now with Japan. How do they get the tariffs removed? And the Premier is going to step back and set up a meeting with the president in person, as long as these details can be done. The first head of state to arrive in Washington and meet with the president today was Netanyahu of Israel, who immediately said Israel's going to remove all tariffs and do their best to drive them now to zero. Doing your best won't get it done, Netanyahu. It's got to go to zero. That's number one. And my guess is you're not going to get away. If the president's putting a 10% tax on everybody, that's how it's going to be. You need our support. You know you do. The president needs yours for the communities and the states and so on. So that's where you're at. But the big blockbuster out of that in the Oval Office, as they were, I think they were in the Oval Office, as they were meeting and talking, blew me away. It was a press conference, and I watched it, and all of a sudden, Trump is saying that there are direct talks, one-on-one, going right on with the head of Iran and the U.S. What? All we've heard from Commodities is he refuses to trust us. We're not trustworthy. We're the infidels, blah, blah, blah. All right. But I think two carrier groups in the Middle East gets everybody's attention. And Israel's the hawk, wanting to put this to an end. And with the trade date coming up for the end of nuclear, it's time. And this president's on a roll. and Iran is one of the goals that he has. So I think he's getting somebody's attention. As for other countries, one after the other are trying to talk to the president and be realistic. To me, the most stubborn one is our neighbor in Canada. I appreciate that they want to stand up to him. It's folly. You don't have the cards to play. This doesn't make any sense at all. Address the problems. But that's my opinion on it. You know, there's one thing that, hey, I'm an American, hey, I'm a Canadian. There's another economic reality. And the economic reality is we've gotten along all this time. Tariffs are wrong. I know what they do. I know how they're supposed to protect. They're basically wrong. How do you get and work that out? That's the issue from President Trump's point of view. I didn't give you mine. I'm not going there. All right. So that's where you're at. So you walked in today to the marketplace, and as I said, volatility, if you were watching CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox, all you kept hearing from the announcers, this is one of the wildest days we've seen. Don't go away because you don't know where it's going to be in 5 minutes. And that's the kind of day it was everywhere. But at the end of the day, on the settlement, the stock indices, with the exception of QQQ, was up. That was up. All the others were down. But there's a lot of green in the board that was not the way we were the other day. You came back $13 off the low in Amazon. Netflix came back $46 off the low today. Apple, bigger problems. It appears that because of there's so much of what they do is done in China that there's fear that there's going to be a big problem there for them. And I see that. Uber came back a little bit today. We saw that AMC had a wonderful day. It was up a dime. I'm being facetious, of course. Tesla down again. NVIDIA did come back $11 off the low to close stronger. All the metals were in the red today. They weren't doing very good. Uranium's cracking $20 to the downside. A terrible spot for that market at this point. So let's go to the charts and take a look. And as you know, on the weekend, I covered Rocket Mortgage, and I made a reason why. With interest rates falling this much, people are needing homes, and with mortgages tied very strongly to the 10-year note, and it down to now, today it's 4.2, but it was under 4% this week. They're in an interesting business. And as you know, they keep buying up different parts of their business to make them the premier go-to company. So as you can see, there was a gap in the chart here that the market finally filled. When we look at the pattern, you don't have a trend. You have a market that made the lowest low, finally came back and took out that high, and you've had a rally back up and through these two highs over here. The market did not hold it, but it did get through it. Where did the market stop? Basically at the 200-day average. And you hear me preach to you. The first challenge of a 200-day average is often a zone you don't want to mess with. When you got through it, you tested it first here and finally got through it. On the way back up, it became resistance. Then when it came up, resistance, resistance, resistance. Support has been showing itself consistently at the 18-day average of closes. You've gone literally from the upper Bollinger Band to the lower band and made your run today back at the upper Bollinger Band. You missed it by 2 cents. You went to 1598 and the number is 1600. I can live with that. It made its run at it, and now it's coming back into neutral territory, the 18-day average of closes. When we look at momentum, it's pointing up. Any reading over 70 is overbought. You're not overbought. So on pullbacks, I can still see the market fighting that battle. I think it's getting itself set up for an eventual move if we don't get shocks to the economy off these tariffs. That's going to be the big issue. When you come to O'Reilly Automotive, I've been looking for a pullback in the market. We're getting it. Today's the very first day that you're underneath the 18-day average. Now, you didn't need today to tell you that the market was in trouble. You've had a unique pattern. You had set up lower highs, lower lows. Then you had an outside day to the upside. Then you had an outside, I think it was an outside day. Let me just check that. The high on the outside day here was allergy season beginning, was 1458.37. The next day you didn't take that out. But you took out of an outside day up the low of that day. If you take it out within 2 days, the market's generally in trouble. And that's what happened. Take my outside day course at iraepstein.com and you'll get the education on what I'm talking about, all right? I found a pattern with that I use all the time. And I have found that most people don't even understand what I'm talking about. If you take TradingView and you get our suite, which includes all this in window envelopes even, I highlight on that outside days. You can turn that off, by the way, that feature, but they're so important, you've got to pay attention to them. Home Depot. This is a market that keeps coming down, a new low for the whole move here. So Home Depot, still not the place you want to be. Is it on my shopping list? Not right now. So I wait and see what I'd want to do. Another chart I'm looking at is Google. So look at how Meta basically is, Alphabet, I keep getting the wrong one there. Alphabet has come from up here, the 200 level. It is down $60 a share. That's a heck of a break, all right? So you're pushing here 25% break in the market. That's got my attention, not my shopping list yet, but my attention. I'd love to see these markets embed. In other words, the blue and the red go sideways under 20 and then lose that. That would get me excited for buying, but I'm not getting it yet. I'm not getting that pattern in Netflix. Netflix, this is the lowest low we've made in the market. You got to go back to the beginning of the year. So it's wiped out everything for the year. As phenomenal as it is, it's given that all back. I'm looking to see how this market does big time in support between the lower Bollinger Band and the 200-day average. And you know how important that 200 is to me. 200-day average to me is just super, super, super important. If you're a big bear and you hit that, I teach. That's the spot. You just say, hey, I'd like to come out there and take another look. That's what's happening in Robinhood. So I'm down to the zone where now it's been on my shopping list, but no time. It's not the time to come in according to my work. I'm still in a bearish mode, very oversold, and I've hit every downside target I have. When we look at ExxonMobil, well, OPEC pulled the plug on everybody, and all these companies get hurt because of Venezuela and what's going on. Not the place to be, but I think worth showing still. And when I say they pulled the plug on this market, they did it. And there's even a gap in the chart here. So when you eventually get a correction, if it carries into this general area of moving averages, that would fill the gap. XLF. No, nothing here. So while people are getting excited and they're going, I see that maybe this is the bottom, I'm going to take shots in the market, I go, why? Other than you're oversold and in some of them under Bollinger Bands where you normally get back into the band, long term, here's my dart. Let's throw it. That's as good a technique as anything else right now, I guess. XLI, there's nothing bullish there. This is a real breakout of this market. I mean, you had the sideways action. You've let go. You're very oversold. Oversold corrects by either embedding or getting a bounce. Okay, maybe we'll get a bounce. You know, all these that are down today, tomorrow's Tuesday reversal day, doesn't mean it has to work, but markets often try to reverse the action of a Monday. In GLD, are we going to reach down for the lower band? They pulled the plug on the market. The bullishness here is gone. Silver, the bullishness is gone. Copper, the bullishness is gone. BND, So the one safe haven that was existing, TLT, BND, 30-year, 10-year, 5-year, 2-year instruments, kaboom today. So, as they said, when a market corrects, there's very few places to hide, and there is no hiding place here. Now, in the gold, I think the pros are going to probe the short side on this rally. I don't think they'll hang around if you get up over the 2840 level. Let's make sure that I've got you with the right number. And I want to get one more day. I believe that 2860. So I don't want to, that's why I did that. I rarely do at 40 didn't sound right. And I'm reading that, but now I can see it is a 60. So I think that they're going to probe it for 19 cents. And if it gets stopped out, they'll step away, but they'll be playing for down here. Now, is that real money? No. It just gives you an idea what's going on. FXE, how long did you last over the upper Bollinger Band? And as you know, I preach that. I go, you can get over it for a short while, 5% of the time. You can generally do better. Now, this is in an uptrend. So I think the pros are going to step into this market at this 100.25 area with their stops right under here. The 99.50, is that 53? Yeah, right under that low. So you put it all together, I think you're going to have another interesting trade day tomorrow. I don't think it'll be as wild as today, but with all this going on, but with President Trump and the rumors and all that, and all these events of everybody now, if you will, rushing to Washington one way or the other to straighten out the tariff situation, you got to pay attention. I'll be on top of it tomorrow morning as we do our morning subscriber videos. Now, these are the ones where they're not on YouTube. I cover 40 some odd charts and futures and an additional, I do that at 6 in the morning. By 9, I'm hard at work doing the spiders, the ETFs. Why? Why the different times? Well, number one, so many of the different spiders ETFs, they're reliant on what the futures are doing. DIA, think about it. QQQ, I can go down the list, so can you. Number two, I want all the morning news to be out. And often the news comes out between 7:30 and 9. I'm ready to go as soon as that happens. I've already done one of the reviews of the charts because they open at 8:30. I put out the trade recommendations. Yes, my SPDR ETF and my futures, I cover every trade that I'm saying, go here, go there, in the videos as well. And I keep you up until they're through, win or lose. So I think you'll like that. Give it a try. Go to iraepstein.com, research. Remember, it's a video. That's what I think you'll enjoy a lot. And with that, by the way, when you go there, it explains everything. And these big reports come out, I email them to you right away. I'm Ira. Hope to see you in the morning. You take care.